Is it your leadership? That could be it.
I'm not going to say it's my leadership, but I'm not going to not say that it's my leadership.
Hey, did
Looking like a true politician right
did Libby quit?
Who?
Libby from ARPA, the young girl from
Oh, Jenny?
Jenny?
Yeah.
Did she quit?
Yeah. We actually hired Karen Miner, who used to work upstairs.
I remember her and I saw her name.
Yeah, she's filling in now that spot. So, oh yeah, we don't have a quorum for sure. I thought I saw Anita Lewis though. Are we recording? So it's on the record that nobody's here. We got Williams online, Gums online. I don't even see Surge online. Yeah.
Just read the Williams.
Oh, I thought he left.
What?
I just thought he left.
It was on remote.
Mr. Shepro, he does not count as a quorum.
What was it?
Something that the dark side didn't like.
Oh. What do we do?
Where's everybody? We're looking for you.
That's what we're wondering, Ken.
There's the question about our leadership here.
Nobody wants to come to my parties anymore.
All right. Well, if you had
Not
Coke,
exciting anymore.
if you had Coke for everybody, it'd be okay.
You don't have people showing up in the audience?
I know.
anymore? I mean,
I know. It's like they forgot about me.
If you don't have enough people that show up for the jury pool, you are allowed to go out into the street and grab people and come in.
Is that in our
No, it's
our
a state
code?
statute. They can put bystanders jury, and you can't say no. So,
Give me a break. You can't say no.
well, you can say no, but they might find yourself on the jury anyway.
Sanchez and Young, that's all. It's not much of a quorum.
I know a quorum in the room.
Nope.
Yes.
I don't see.
I think they knew that Sanchez and Young were gonna show up, so they decided that everyone.
That's why they didn't show.
I don't blame them.
Man, I should have called in today.
Well, yeah, I isn't. Who's the vice chairman?
Me.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
That used to be the rule where during COVID, where all you needed was the chairman
Correct.
and a secretary.
Oh, yeah, well, they,
recorder.
they changed the law and now
Yeah.
it's not as,
I think in probably the next 20 years, everyone's going to be at home and it's going to be all holograms, you know?
right.
And that's
Chips
how-
in her head.
yeah, something. The Neuralinks.
Hear about the person that is actually controlling a
I
mouse
think
from his
we'll be
mind?
walking on all
Heard the
fours.
results.
No, no, it was in the news this week where the person that got a chip implanted into his brain is now able to move a mouse on the computer
On the
screen with his
computer.
mind.
Yeah.
Well, look at
Was
that.
that the Neuralink chip?
Yes, it was an Elon Musk thing.
Like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Manchurian candidate.
There's in trouble with quorum.
Well,
Well-
so, yeah, well, yeah. okay.
Short one and
More.
2 online, so.
How are
that
you?
leaves-
Not
that
much.
leaves Teppy.
What you did is, chair upstairs.
I do not know.
You have to go, the sergeant at arms can control the.
Oh, I got this for you old people that I work with.
And I've just been young for, oh, yeah,
Yeah, I'm not old. I've just been young for a very long time.
yeah.
Teppy, you coming in today?
Did so well for this group.
Out of
Okay,
place.
yeah. I'm trying to remember. Run by a minute.
Voted this morning.
I just have to report.
Is why I was
You did
late.
that,
Of course,
so-
I had to
All right, man. Talk to
You didn't stop and talk.
No,
actually.
Short of.
Make sure it was all in order. I
you.
had-
We're short one.
We had a Republican and Democrat both sign and initial.
No, he's not.
We had a poll watcher.
Good.
Everything was top
Pirog's
notch.
online, so.
Machines were easy to use.
Over here.
Green, if you're hearing this, if you can come
Well,
down.
I got the.
I'm about, Jarrett, can you hear me?
Gotta fill it up. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead,
My
Green.
other-
Jarrett? Yeah, hi, I'm about 10 minutes away.
Okay, we might just run the reports and just call it a day because there aren't any other orders of business, so.
I know
Okay.
what this week Anyway.
Because yeah, that leaves who else? Yeah, nobody else is coming in. Okay, I think that's just what we're gonna do.
So I'll come in as soon as I get there. I'm just a few minutes
We don't
away.
even have the recorder here.
To wait.
He's always.
Or move to do
Okay.
everything that you
Okay,
to earlier.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Vote yourself a pay raise, do that.
He doesn't have a quorum to say.
well, we can at least hear reports, and then if we do obtain a quorum, then we can conduct the business of approving the minutes and placing the reports on file at the very least. So, that being said, the time is 9:05 a.m. and this is an unofficial beginning to the Kane County Public Service Committee, and we're just going to go through this agenda. We do have a few members present, Mr. Sanchez, Mr. Young, Ms. Lewis. We have a couple online, Ms. Gums, Mr. Williams, and then obviously Chairman Pirog. And
I'm on the road in Iowa, Jarrett, so I apologize. I couldn't be there.
well, can you get here in the next few minutes, maybe?
I can get there in about 4 hours if I turn around.
Yeah, Chief Engineer Scott's available.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just go through this. Finance reports, everybody has available and you know where to go for questions on those. The recorder report as well. Treasurer collector, we do have Mr. Lawson attending via Zoom. Mr. Lawson, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Our report was submitted 7 to 8 days ago. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're in the process now of ramping up for this year's printing of the tax bills. Met our Maria Herrera and Cindy Christopher, and I met with the printer about a week ago. And so everything on track. Beyond that, everything's moving along as it should.
Any questions for Treasurer Lawson? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Lawson, for being here. Enjoy your
Thank you,
time
Mr.
away.
Sanchez. Thank you.
Supervisor of Assessments report is on file and
It is.
sorry, I
Oh,
forgot.
my name is Holly Winter.
Any questions for the Supervisor of Assessments office? No. Okay. That was easy for you today. Next up, Regional Office of Education.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We've been getting some questions lately on the homeless population within the county, so I thought I would just update all of you a little bit on what's happening in the schools with our homeless population. So Dee is passing out some information that may be helpful. This year, total wise, we have 108,651 students within the county schools. Last year, or in 2018, we had 118,812, which is a decline of 10,161 students. 8 of our 9 districts are losing population within the county. The one that is gaining population is Burlington. Then if you look at the next page, this is kind of some projections based on the 2023 McKinney-Vento, MCV is McKinney-Vento, which is the Homeless Act. We served 2,769 students. As of January 17th of 24, we're up to 2,332 students. In February of 24, we served 2,635 students, which was an increase of 303 students in 1 month. We're predicted by the end of this year, because it's slowing down now, to have anywhere up to 472 students more this year in McKinney-Vento homeless than we had last year. So the next page is a list by district of the actual count of students registered as homeless. And so you can see that U46 has the highest number. EMSA is a charter school up in Elgin. It's a very small school, but we're responsible for that school as well. And then the next page talks about people that identified as asylum seekers. So far this year, we have 729 students that have identified as asylum seekers in the county. 5 out of the 9 school districts reported that people and families had identified as asylum seekers. It's a self-reporting. You don't have to identify yourself as an asylum seeker, so it's not a very accurate number, but this is the number of people that actually said that they were. And we've not this is the first year we've really tracked asylum seekers separate from just the homeless population. So I don't have historical data on that. And ISB has approved an additional $10,000 of McKinney-Vento funding to support just the people that identify as asylum seekers. Questions?
Any questions? Ms.
I
Lewis?
just have two.
Okay,
One, will you remind me what the definition of McKinney-Vento is? Because I know it's not just people at the homeless shelter. There's a broad.
it's homeless,
range.
it's doubled up, it's hotels, it's cars. It's anyone that doesn't have a fixed residence of their own.
Thank you. I just kinda
Mhm.
forgot. And also, how, do you know, how is this, you were talking about asylum seekers, but how is this influx of either the asylum seekers or we've gotten some people from Guatemala recently? And I know several of our districts are having issues because these are non-Hispanic and non-English speakers. How are you guys helping get around that
Right.
problem?
Well, we do have issues because not only do we have a national teacher shortage of all teachers, we have a huge shortage of ELL teachers, English language learner teachers. So we're doing the best we can. We're using all the agencies that we can utilize to help with the schools and what's happening in them. The libraries are being very helpful. So we're working really hard.
Good. Thank you.
Just a quick point of information, I guess. Do you have this in a this presentation digitally that you can send to everyone?
Sure,
Okay, even if you could just send it to all members of the board, I think it's good
Sure.
information for them to be aware of.
absolutely.
Could you-
Just, can I just email it to all of them?
Attorney's office?
Well, I can email it to you, or just add Mr. Shepro to your
Sure.
list. Yeah,
I'll make sure he gets one as well.
Mr. Young?
I had a question. Thank you, David Young. The asylum seekers, obviously those are the migrants coming in from, Mexico illegally.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Those are obviously migrants coming in from Mexico, the illegals coming in. So I heard that they were actually, was it a St. Charles East or something like that, that they were, what, someone said that there was one of the St. Charles schools had a whole bunch of these, immigrants coming through. You had mentioned 729 total. Is that's this year?
For the whole county,
Oh, okay.
the entire county.
Do you know you don't know what schools?
No,
those
I
were?
know 5 of the 9 school districts reported them.
Okay, but you
know which
don't have
districts?
you don't have the breakdown.
St. Charles did not report
Okay,
any.
Okay,
No.
okay. Thanks.
Mhm.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question?
Yeah, Mr. Williams, go ahead.
Did I hear right that we received only $10,000?
Additional funding. Additional
but-
funding. Yeah.
That's a total. That's not per student, right?
No, that's the
So-
total amount.
So
That's not the total amount that
$10,000.
we receive for homeless, but that's the total additional dollars that they have designated for us for the asylum seekers.
Right, so we got $10,000 for 729 asylum seekers.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that per student or that's total?
Total.
Wow.
For the asylum seekers.
Wow. I
So,
thought you were gonna say per
Can
student. I was
you,
like,
can you describe briefly how the money is used? And I'm not saying just for the total population of McKinney-Vento.
For homeless population, it's used for anything from transportation to, we assist with housing, to clothing for schools, to food. It's a variety, whatever they need. That's basically what the money is used for.
And then
School
do-
supplies.
So it went up from January into February. Do you see normal trends throughout the year?
I think I think we're seeing a decrease right now. I think it's cyclical.
Uh-huh.
And right now the migrants seem to be slowing down the reception. I've heard that in Chicago, the buses are actually slowing down coming now. So we anticipate that it'll be a little slower for the next couple of months. Don't know what'll happen after that.
Can I ask,
Yeah, we,
can I ask another question?
oh yeah, Ms. Lewis, go ahead.
So, this is a lot of kids.
A lot of kids.
It's a lot of kids. And I'm not going to go into the homeless thing, but when we take these kids to school, I know we provide them transportation and we try to make sure that they have, the proper clothing and everything like that. But do we provide mental health things for them? Because obviously the homeless situation and being in this group probably is starting them out to have,
Right,
you
right.
know, starting them
And-
out on the failure path. But we-
Yes, yes, and we do.
Okay, what do we do? Like,
Well, the social workers, the counselors, agencies, they all provide the services.
okay, and we identify these kids.
Yeah.
and give them to them.
And give them, yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
what our homeless coordinator in our office does, is make sure he hooks them up with the right services.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I always like, you guys do a great job and I always like to highlight what you're doing.
It's
Bigger,
bigger.
more complicated.
It
Any other
is, it's
questions
huge.
for the Regional Office of Education? Ms. Del Santo? No? Okay, thank you
Okay,
very much.
thank
for
you.
This update, appreciate it.
you.
Veterans Assistance Commission, Mr. Zimmerman?
Good morning. I have nothing exciting or alarming to report in my monthly report. I would just mention the veteran resource fair that we hosted with the Batavia United Way and at the Batavia VFW. At the beginning of this month, we had over 50 service providers, including the assessment office there, our office. I think close to 7 different offices from Heinz, Small Business Administration, great service providers there. 6 veteran-owned businesses showcasing what they do and what their business is. And had over 250 veterans come through the door that day to take advantage of those services. And then we also hosted a town hall that night with senior VA leaders and a member of the General Assembly. Had over 20 veterans stick around and ask questions for that event. Dr. Silva and Mr. Roth were there in attendance for that as well. And then I just want to give a shout out to, I thought she was here, Julie, covered that event fairly well in Kane County Connects and did a pretty good report on that. So with that, I'd be happy to take any questions that you have.
Any questions for Veterans Assistance Commission? All right, thank you, Mr. Zimmerman.
Thank you.
Next up, County Clerk. We have Mr. Pollock here today.
Good morning. Happy Election Day.
Yay.
Every day for these 40 days is an election day. Look at it that way with early voting.
Look it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming over. So wanted to point out again that early voting has started. The early voting / grace period time is that 40 days before the election. We've had as of before this morning, so I haven't counted those. I think we're at 408 early voters so far. And we've had vote by mail ballots returned already because those were mailed out on February 8th as well. So we've had almost 3,000 people already vote, cast their ballots. So we encourage people to come vote early. It's a primary, so the turnout won't be as heavy as the general election, but since we have new equipment, it's a good time to come over and use it when there's less lines. This is the time where you're going to have that less people voting. We'll expand to the 25 locations, I believe, on March 4th. That's when the expanded early voting starts. But now it's the voting here and voting in Aurora. It's usually slow. And usually that first week or so is slow. It's the last week of early voting right before the election, and usually the day before the election. Sometimes there are longer lines on the Monday before the election than there are on election day. But either way, anytime you want to vote, whether you want to vote in person, whether you want to vote by mail, whether you want to vote early, as long as you vote, that's what's important. We have on our website, there's a video in English and Spanish on how to use the machines. If you want to share that with your constituents, we'd appreciate it. The more people are aware of what's going on, it's easier. But basically, if you've done it, instead of turning the wheel, you're just touching the screen. And then, Blair, did you get the email I sent with the graphic this morning? Okay, no big deal. I just we did a press release for our year in review. Just wanted to have a couple highlights. You're all aware, we talk each month about passports. Probably get tired of it, but we're proud that we had that record of we completed 4,791 passport applications this year. Some of the other things we do, we served more customers this year in terms of certified copies of birth, death, and marriage records, more than last year. we don't talk a lot about it, but when you do your statement of economic interests, it's not just you guys, it's all the elected and appointed officials across the county. We've digitized that. All that information is up online. We do that every year. We extended taxes to this year, I believe it was 197,000 parcels, worth over $19 billion. So we go through that process from the township assessors to the supervisor of assessments and the treasurer's office. We're a part of that process. We handled 1,740 tax redemptions. We've talked ad nauseum about election stuff, but you're aware of what's going on this year. So there are some of the highlights up there. So most people think of the clerk's office as just elections, and we just want to make sure that everyone understands that we're vital records, we're passports, we're tax extension and redemption. So if you have any questions about anything in the report, it's there for you.
Any questions for the clerk's office, Mr. Young?
Yeah, David Young. Brian, I got a text last night. It was regarding the voting machines, and I don't know if you've heard this or not, but this is from Debbie Kenarowski.
Mhm.
Her daughter went to go vote, and she said that it was not user-friendly on the voting machines. That she said the touchscreen wasn't working, and she said there was she was on machine number 2, but then when she went to go talk to the person at the voting machines, the person said, "Oh, I thought we were having problems on voting machine number 5." So I just got this, and so it was quite timely. We're having this meeting today. But Brian, have you heard of anything, people complaining about the machines or the touch screen's not working properly? Have you heard anything over the past week or so?
So far, no. The anecdotal comments have been good. Ms. Lewis, you want to talk about your voting experience?
Yeah. So I went over and voted this morning on purpose, so
Okay.
that if there was going to be a problem, I could yell at him directly.
Good.
But I didn't have any problems.
Darn it.
There was a poll watcher there. There was a Democrat and a Republican that both signed the corner of my sheet. From that, I went and they gave me the little access code, which then I went over and there were 6 machines and I just randomly picked one, which was number 4, by the way. And I went over and it's very easy. It says, put in your access code. I did. And then it says, put in your ballot. And I did that. It doesn't go in all the way. And, but it even says that it shows you a picture that it's only going to go in part way. And then it comes up and it says, basically start voting, and every one of mine worked perfectly. And then when I was done, I got the little flag, which was cool. And I took it over and you take your piece of paper and you feed it into the machine yourself. And then, it says it's been recorded and you get your little sticker. And then, I mean, everything, I did it here and everything was absolutely spot on, because I sit in all these meetings and I hear, all the horror stories. So I really wanted to double check it myself and make sure every signature was there, everything was done. And it was perfect. And even to the point that at the very beginning, I had to write in my name and my address and all those kind of things. And I took that over and then they matched it to what they had in the books. Whereas it used to be you'd go up and you just say your name and they'd look in the book and check you off, but you had to actually fill everything out. So like I had to know my name and my address and, my zip code and everything. So I thought everything was amazing. So, and to me, I always hated the little dial thing, little dial and click. That always bugged me. And these are just super easy because they're touch screens. So I think that it's definitely an upgrade, and I'm kind of proud of all the, all the hard work and all the stuff that department and the board, how everybody's worked through all this. So my opinion. You should go vote and then you'll see too.
I will.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Vote for, I shouldn't say that. We're not
No.
in public session. but,
Just vote.
Mr.
Doesn't
Chair,
care. It doesn't
Sturgis.
matter.
Who was that?
Sturgis.
Sir, just go ahead.
Surges.
Yeah, hey, Brian, I had sent John Duggan an email and not received the response back yet. If you could give him a nudge for me, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so, Brian, when it comes to issues, you have like the technical judges that are on site. They're the ones that would report back to what, Jim or?
Yeah,
somebody?
any issue that comes in, will get logged. It goes to the call center and those
Okay.
things are logged. So that if you've been to the office, Jack will show you the book that we have of the issues that come up
Yeah.
so that we're aware of what's going on. How long did it take to get fixed? What is it? If it's an issue that's repeatedly happening, then we're prepared for the next election to know that that's gonna be a problem.
Okay, so it's not somebody taking a phone call, writing it down on a piece of paper,
No.
maybe it gets lost or something.
No.
Yeah.
So if that issue is reported to a judge,
Yeah.
then it's reported to the call center.
Okay.
If
excellent.
people don't tell us about the issue, we don't know.
Yeah, but maybe it just resolved itself or maybe you know,
Sure.
something else happened, but, okay, any other questions for the clerk's office? All right, thank you for being here. And we're at the end of our reports. This is being recorded, it's live streamed, it will be available online afterwards, even though we weren't in open session, but all members present, physically or digitally had an opportunity to ask questions. The reports will be placed on file. We do have a physical quorum now at this time. So if Madam Chair will come up here, have a seat somewhere, we can actually open this meeting, attend to the business of the minutes, place the reports on file, and then close this meeting. So that being said, the time is 9:26 a.m. I'd like to officially start the meeting of the Kane County Public Service Committee. Clerk, please call the roll for attendance. Oh, and the date is February 22nd, 2024.
Gums,
Gums here, remote.
Lewis,
Lewis here.
Surges,
Surges present.
Debbie's not here. Williams,
Williams present remote.
Young,
Here.
Sanchez.
Sanchez present. Okay, I need a motion of some type to approve the minutes.
Chairman's name,
Yes, she did.
I was just.
Mhm.
I'll call it.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of January 18th, 2024.
I'd like to vote for unanimous approval of the minutes of January 18th, 2024.
Ms. Lewis asks for unanimous consent. Any disagreement? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. I need a report to place the reports on file for this month. Did I say that right?
You
I
said
need a
report.
motion.
Unanimous consent, or you can entertain a request for unanimous consent. to put
Yes.
the
I'll take a motion.
I would like to make the motion to place the reports on file with unanimous consent.
It's a request for unanimous consent or a motion to approve, which would require a second. Unanimous consent just requires a request with no.
I would like to request, Mr. Chair, I would like to request that we have unanimous approval to place the reports on file.
Any objection? All right, the reports are placed on file. We have no one here for public comment. I just need a motion and a second to adjourn.
I'll
Mr.
make that
Chairman,
motion.
Surges,
Oh, Mr. Sturgis, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you. For those of you that aren't aware, there is a major AT&T outage. For those of us in the corporate world, this is just unbelievably disruptive. It's been going on since 2:30 in the morning. We still can't reach all of our offices, and I do appreciate the ability to remote in. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sturgis. for
Attendance
being-
purposes, do we have any remote attendance requests?
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't say we have
Yeah.
remote attendance requests. What, is there any objection to the remote attendance request of Sturgis, Gums, and Williams? Hearing none, everybody is and was approved, and I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Young moves, Ms. Lewis seconds. All those in favor say aye.
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 That was the most unorthodox meeting I've ever run.